Welcome on board my review of the Qantas Airbus A330 in business class flying from Sydney to Melbourne. Stay tuned as there's a little bit of a twist towards the end of the video. Today's video is also powered by Uplift.
People 851, turn right heading 180. Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established.
And a very warm welcome to Melbourne Airport at 4 AM. Today we're heading into T1, that's Terminal 1 of the airport, more commonly known also as the home of Qantas Domestic. Today I'll be flying on board a Qantas A330 through to Sydney, a short 1 and a bit hour hop. That's Qantas's most popular service. Like most airlines nowadays, Qantas has moved towards automated check-in and bag drops, although I must be completely honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of these. I definitely prefer seeing someone. At 4 AM, the airport is indeed a ghost town as you'd expect. That being said, it's a tiny bit tranquil as the industry recovers. My flight, QF402, is actually the first flight out today with an estimated departure of 0600 from Gate 21. The plane also has Wi-Fi. I'm also flying in business class in a bid to upgrade system. Although with security being empty, I won't be using the fast track lanes. Past security, the airport is truly a room of nothing as the airport renovates, looking to elevate the overall experience. This results in only one gourmet restaurant being made available. Home to Qantas Link, here's a host of Boeing 717s and also a propeller plane. Flying on business class means I have access to the lounge, although they aren't really my thing, and I preferred to spend time with my mum, simply looking out the window and chatting. But here is a brief look of just the start of the business class lounge in T1 if you are interested and will be visiting shortly. News agencies have also disappeared as renovations begin. It'll be a long process, but also I've included on your screen around about now what it should look like in the future once it has reopened. Looks great in my opinion, and I'm excited to see the results. Another look at the Qantas Link aircraft. I was actually meant to fly on a 717 today, but maybe another time I will get to do that. While I'm only transiting in Sydney, the airport Link offers reliable transport from the airport into the city centre and is actually advertised throughout Melbourne. Being the first flight out today, the airport is certainly rather dull at this time. Here's my aircraft taking me up to Sydney today, VH-EBA, a Qantas A330-200 delivered to Qantas in December of 2002. It means it's almost 20 years of age, and here's a fun fact. Did you know VH-EBA was previously a Qantas 747-238B? I'm departing from Gate 21. Here's where we'll be boarding shortly. I do have priority boarding technically, although that doesn't exist here in Australia, with most rushing to get on quickly. As mentioned, I'll be at the front of the plane today in business class, which is very exciting for me, and I'm sure for you as well, as it's something different for the channel. I'll tell you a little bit about the configuration. This A330-200 is configured with domestic/international seating. This means at the front of the plane, you're met with the first 5 rows being business class in a 1-to-1 layout. Behind that, you're greeted with 6 additional seats in business class, 1 on each window and 4 in the middle, spread across 2 rows. Behind that, it's all economy from rows 23 through to 58 with a 2-4-2 layout, meaning some view it as quite cramped. My seat today though is 7A. It's a little private area, and I somehow managed to snag this window seat as I was initially going to be in the aisle. Let's review the seat now. One of the first things you notice is the lovely seat, but of course, over to the right in this video, but to the left when you're sitting, we have the first storage compartment with a light. Also below that is a headset. Just further below that, there's various sorts of charging with USB compatibility to charge your phone and devices. There's also a handy spot to place any goods and of course a window, which I do really like. You can also just see below there the controls to the seat. Now I will be showing you those very soon. I did have an engine view, so I'm very happy with that. When sitting in the chair, towards the top left, there is another storage bin. This is perfect for, I believe, any type of backpack. It did not fit my luggage, but it might be useful to you. A bit forward in front of that, we have the Qantas magazine, very standard, and the Qantas safety card. Of course, there's a lot of people that love collecting the magazines, and that's there for you. In front of us, we have the massive IFE, which of course can be quite difficult to reach. As for legroom, I found it more than adequate. I mean, it is business class at the end of the day, so definitely no complaints there. Most of you watching will have flown long haul, or are looking to fly long haul at some point in your life. Did you know there are scientific backing methods to help with jet lag? I thought it was weird too when some guys recommended that I massage my leg and or arm in a certain way, but that's where Uplift comes into play. In easy steps, Uplift guides you to identify and activate the acupressure points to help adjust your body clock. It's like magic. It results in the shift of nerve impulses and blood flow to recalibrate your body clock following a long journey. This way, you won't be up at 4 AM, confused as to why everyone's sleeping. I used it for my recent journey from Melbourne to Canada across 5 flights, and it did actually work a treat for me. With over 110,000 cities and their respective time zones in the apps, you're able to input exact departure and arrival times. Overall, it prevents burnout alongside improving your physical and mental wellness after a long journey. You can get Uplift at the link in the description and pinned comment. Thank you to Uplift for sponsoring this video. Here's another look also at the belt on business class. Again, it's more like your traditional car seat belt rather than say in economy where it clips you in. To the left, I just wanted to mention again, there's the reading light and those lovely headsets, and this is a better look at the storage compartment as well as the controls when it comes to your seat. As you can see, there's lots on offer there. When sitting down, to your left, just over your thigh, you'll find the tray table, which has a release system where the tray table comes out from left to right. It's a little bit of a mess, but once it's out, it's definitely a brilliant size. As you can see, those are my Beats earphones, and they sit pretty perfectly there. Now, in relation to me putting my hand on the table, you can see that it's still a lot of room. It's perfect for anything, whether it's a meal, and also you have the storage space to the left, which is perfect. The headphones once again have the 100 branding as Qantas recently celebrated its 100th birthday, a prestigious moment in their history that continues through to the safety video on your screen now. One of my favourites that I have personally watched, and it takes us through the various decades of Qantas. Please definitely give it a watch on YouTube, but you can just watch a snippet now on your screen. I definitely think it's worth your while. Featuring some of Qantas's classic aircraft, it's a trip down memory lane, and it's executed in my opinion in probably one of the best manners possible. We were meant to be one of the first flights out of the day, however due to engineering difficulties with the A330-200, we were delayed out of Melbourne by 45 minutes. As you can see, we did begin our pushback around about 45 minutes late, which for me was a bit of an issue with my connection. My mum though stayed to watch the pushback. She's definitely a legend, and I hope you're enjoying this video, as she'll be watching this right now, so let me be quiet now, however, say goodbye to my mum, and let you enjoy the takeoff out of Melbourne. Qantas's IFE is good, having an impressive flight tracking system that is readily available to you. It lacks in comparison to some airlines, but for me it personally works. On top of this, the airline has what you would expect from an IFE, from the latest movies to a whole lot more. You can watch the likes of The Lost City, even towards the new Spider-Man film Far From Home, or you can also check out the drama movies and so forth. There's a lot on offer. Now, I'm only on the plane for 1 hour, so I can't fully experience the IFE, and even then I'm not the biggest fan of it. But the airline also offers various TV series, whether it's box sets, comedy, documentaries, reality, HBO, which I will click on now, some of the latest series on offer to you, from the likes of Curb Your Enthusiasm to The Third Day. There's something for everyone, and I think that's what's great about these IFE systems. The response times for the IFE were more than adequate. I didn't find any difficulties whatsoever. There's also a seat chat if you are interested. Shortly after departure, we broke through the clouds, and breakfast was indeed served. An excellent breakfast, a mushroom omelette, which did not taste of mushrooms, with some potato, baked beans, and relish. I also had a blueberry yogurt, with some lovely orange juice on the side as well. It was a great meal for anyone that is really into their airplane meals. I should mention that there was no other option. I would give this meal a solid 8 out of 10. What I would mention though is there was a muffin that was also forgotten as part of my breakfast, so I did get that a little bit later. While conditions above the clouds were pleasant throughout the 1-hour journey, the weather was terrible, and approaching Sydney this became evident with the rain clouds appearing as we began our descent into the city. Overall, the flight was very enjoyable. It was a 1-hour flight, but of course I had a lot longer, around about 2 and a bit hours on board the aircraft due to those engineering difficulties. But was it truly worth the money? No. I'm always happy in economy and don't see anything wrong with it. But paying the minimum amount to upgrade to this seat, I thought why not as a trip report for you all. It's not something I would typically do. And of course I should just mention not to go anywhere, because this flight took quite the turn. This peaceful bank over Sydney would very quickly change as you're about to see on your screen. Enough talking for me now, and enjoy what happens on this unique experience on board the Qantas A330, and something I have never personally felt on board an aircraft. That's right, we went around. My first ever go around on board an aircraft. This was due to a plane in front of us departing having a bird strike. The runway check was therefore not completed on time and resulted in the pilots having to abort the takeoff. This is a routine procedure that was an experience and a half for me, but should definitely not be mistaken as a safety issue or something wrong with the plane. The pilots know what they're doing. However, it would actually mean that my connection would be quite the rush. You'll find out about that in a detailed podcast and the following flight review. Until then, thank you very much for watching my journey on board this Qantas A330-200 from Melbourne to Sydney on what was meant to be the first flight out of the day, experiencing the business class product. I do seriously hope you enjoyed my coverage and of course my review on this seat and experience. Stay tuned, as I mentioned, for many more flight reviews to hit the channel over the coming weeks, with many more also being on business class.